Thanks for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. You can find us wherever you find podcasts or listen to music. When you have an opportunity, please give us a 5-star review, write a little note, tell us how we're doing. We really appreciate it. It helps us keep this thing going. If you want to reach out to us, you can find us at Facebook at Hidden Tracks. Instagram is at HiddenTracks99, and if you'd like to send in submissions or talk to us or give us any feedback about what we're doing, our email is myhiddentracks99@gmail. Thank you so much again for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the show.
Please don't make me go back to December, where the snow covered your lifeless skin. I knew when I saw those wires in your veins, cancer finally set in.
What's up, everybody? Another week, another edition of the show. This week, I have Dylan from the awesome band out of New York City called Jam Poetry. I found their most recent album, Pass It Down. It's been out for about 2 months now, and once I heard it and I discovered it, my first reaction was, gotta reach out to the fucking brilliant people who made this, because it had me on my feet and my ears were tingly and my spidey senses were going off, and I was like, that means it's some good shit. So I got Dylan here to talk about the good shit he created. Welcome to the show, Dylan.
God, that's got to be the best intro to this band ever. So thank you, thank you. And the Spider-Man reference. I'm a huge comic book geek, so I can appreciate a good Spider-Man reference.
Yeah, I'm a nerd, so it's
Oh yeah.
I wear my comic book creds proudly. But yeah, so I mean, we'll dive right into the album that it came out back in September, but so it's been out for a little while now. Let me get some thoughts on how you feel about how it's been received around the ways of the interweb and how people start to comment on things. But how do you feel first off of it finally reaching out there and being out to the masses, and how do you feel about the reception it's received so far?
I mean, it feels really great. First off, because we recorded this last year. It's been over a year now, because we went in October. So we were sitting on these songs for basically a year. So just having them out, let alone having people hear it and like give us feedback is kind it's like, and it's enough for us, but having like the reception and hearing it has been like overwhelmingly positive to, and like we weren't expecting like anybody to say anything, and like people have been like listening to it and sharing it to an extent that we didn't expect at all, and it's just super, not only gratifying, but we're just very grateful to have had ears on the project, especially since we poured, like a lot of like passion and like anxiety attacks into it. So
No, and it's always so interesting to me too, because I always feel bad when, you hear that story of, we've been sitting on this for a year. And a lot of times I understand what goes behind that, having dealt with those things, personally and everything. But how, once you're done with something and everything's mixed and mastered and you're waiting to put this out, how hard is it for you to just not like, how people say, vomit at the mouth, but like just throw it all out there and say, we're done. Here it is.
very hard. I was a major issue, I guess, or I guess you could say internally, because I was leaking it to like anybody who would listen, basically. Um, like it started out with just like my, fellow bands and friends, and then it was like, oh, you want to listen to it? Sure. But we struggled like trying like in terms of like releasing it, because we had never really done a full rollout. Like even with our prior EP, it was just like a single, and the record was out a month later. Like whereas with this, it was originally we were just going to drop two singles, but then we decided on four, and like trying not to release everything like within the span of like a week. It was like really like we were really like testing our patience in terms of like, okay, we have to like wait and give things time, and like just, let things sit and see how people react to this song, or just like give like the singles their time to breathe and in preparation for the record. So it was definitely a big challenge, not like just sending it all out there and all that, just like very like immediately with no sense of like a rollout, but we got through it.
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely glad that I found the album itself, because, and I didn't find the singles, because I'm, how do you, an old curmudgeon when it comes to that, just because the singles game, and I understand where it's
Yeah.
coming from and why it's happening, and metrics and things behind it. My biggest issue, if I may, when it comes to stuff like that, is especially if there's not a lot of music out already, and I hear a song that I really like, and then I go to listen to everything from that artist, and there's fucking only a couple singles to listen to. I honestly, I rarely go back. And that's
Yeah.
one of my biggest things is, I know I'm not the only one. So, and I just don't know how it truly does. And do you know how it truly does, and how it was doing with those four singles leading up to the full release, and like how much traction it gained to get that full release out? I'm just interested, because I don't see it, so I don't
Mhm.
know. But again, like I said, me as a person, if there's only a couple singles out and I can't find, a wealth of music or a full album, then I'm just like, I forget about it and I move on to the next band that I'm looking for.
Yeah, no, I definitely get that. I mean, we're all like big album heads. And like we originally didn't want to do four singles. We were like we were really set on two, but um and then slowly opened up to more. Because like we also were like we don't want to give everything away, but in terms of like reception to the singles leading up to the record, like it went surprisingly well, because we felt like we were gambling a little bit, like being of the like a similar mindset in regards to like music, especially with newer bands that aren't as established. Um, it can be kind of risky, to like hold some stuff close to the chest in a way. So we decided to like, okay, let's have these singles out, and they it went surprisingly well. Like we released them within like a month and a half of one another, and then the final single was just a week away from the record. So that kind of was like, okay, here's this last song, the record's out next week, and it worked out in terms of like piquing interest for the record. And like the singles, like some of them, like our song "Grounded" in particular, has been like the one that we keep hearing about, which was the first single we released way back when in June, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, it went better than expected. We kind of were expecting like it to just come out and just be that. It just exists now, kind of collecting dust on in the internet. And thankfully, it didn't collect like it didn't do as bad as we expected.
Well, I mean, having that mindset of thinking that it's going to do terrible is never a great mindset. But at the
Of course, yeah,
at the same time, I completely understand it, and especially with all the music that comes out all the time and is released every day, and it's hard to find that foothold, the double-edged sword that is streaming. It's great because you can find anything, anywhere, anytime, but it's also for the artist creating the art. You also get lost in the minutia of 60,000 songs were released today on Spotify. So,
yeah,
how do you, how do you fall into that realm and try to figure it out? And honestly, there's no way to figure it out, right?
hmm
There's only a top, as I say, there's a top 25 artist list, and those are the top 25, and those will always be the top 25 until they either die off or everyone gets 1,000% sick of them, but they're always going to be up there, and it's hard to get anything below that top 25 to see what the fuck's really going on with the music world, and I know it's
yeah,
hard for bands coming out today and trying to deal with that, but it is easier than back in my day and in the 90s of trying to come out with music. And how the fuck do you get this to people except just handing out free 7 inches or free cassettes or free
hmm
CDs? Like, hey, here you go.
yeah, yeah. No, it definitely is kind of like that. Like you said, the double-edged sword was like nowadays it's so easy to not only create but release music to the public. Like all you need is an Instagram account and some like dedication, and
Yeah.
you can go farther than you'd expect. But at the same time, because of that, like there's so much out there, and like gratefully so, because there's so much good stuff that may not like if this was a few decades ago may not have been found or found as quickly.
Yeah. I mean, I may have never found you, and
Yeah.
that's the big thing about, it's great that it's there. But I also put in a lot of work at it. I
hmm
spend a lot of time doing it and trying to find stuff that I think is special and that can connect with people. And that, like, when I see like certain numbers and metrics, I'm like, man, this band needs, more people need to fucking hear this. How do we do it?
Yeah.
So I want to get a little personal with you and
hmm
talk about your life's journey through music, and if when you were a child, do you kind of have a special moment or something where music first clicked with you, like the first time you heard something and music clicked and it like brought out this like, oh, I need to know more about this.
Yeah. Um, like when I was very little, I would always like hear stuff on the radio, um, here and there. Like I live in Queens, so I would always hear like in the morning on the way to school the Jim Kerr rock and
Yep.
roll morning show,
Yep.
like classic rock all the way to school. Um, but in terms of like really finding music that I wanted to like really like investigate and just like I guess was like, oh shit, this is really cool. I was maybe like 13 or 14, and I was with my cousin, and my cousin used to play in like a bunch of bands, and he played the drums, and he like introduced me to like Blink 182. And that was like one of the first bands, if not the first band that like I was really like I was like, whoa, okay, I didn't know this existed. And like we would listen to like Buddha and like Cheshire Cat, and then eventually like some of the later stuff. Like I dug into on my own. Um, but yeah, just like stuff like that when I was like kind of like I guess developing some kind of like thought that I can where there was more to it than just this is cool. And I was like, whoa, okay, like I really like what's going on here. In terms of like, I don't know, I just thought it was sick.
Yeah. Now, with your cousin showing you something like that, do you remember like the first time you found a band that you were excited to share with other people?
Yeah. Um, I can't think of one when I was younger, but I can think of one a bit more recently. Um, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Um, but I remember a few years ago, um, I was like before, like I was talking to one of the guys from Army Amphibians on like TikTok Messenger or whatever it was, and they like sent me their first EP, like the like a like a drive link, and I remember like, oh shit, like this needs to come out, and I need to show this to everybody because this is like unreal, and it was just like absolutely fantastic. And now they're blowing up, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's a tough part too when you get like how you said earlier you were sharing your album. Like it's really hard for me when people share albums with me before they come out, like well before they come out, and I'm just like,
Mhm.
I keep it for myself. I don't share it with people, but I
Of
hate
course.
having to keep it for myself. It's like this
Yeah,
is so goddamn good. Like what the fuck? Like I still got to wait like 3 months before I can tell other people about it. I'm like, God,
yeah,
so hard.
yeah. No, it definitely is.
So if your cousin was playing drums and showed you some Blink 182, about what age were you when you started to think about wanting to play music and do it yourself?
Right around that same time, because like I would always be around my cousin when I was like younger, and because he's not too much older than me, but um like around like the holidays, like I'd always like go over there and like I'd see him like playing on his drum kit like down in the basement, and I remember like thinking, oh, that's cool. So I ended up I talked to my dad, and he was like, okay, we can like get you some lessons. So I ended up like my first instrument was drums, and I played that for God knows how long before I even looked at the guitar, which is what I do now. But I just remember like looking at like watching my cousin play the drums and thinking it was like the coolest fucking thing on the planet.
Because it
And I
is.
still think it is. Yeah,
Yeah,
like it
because it is.
still is, and like it's wildly impressive.
Yeah.
Um,
Coming from a drummer, yes, it's absolutely the coolest fucking thing in the world.
Yeah, it's like I may not play drums on a regular basis anymore, but I still think it's by far like top three instruments of all time, if not number one. So,
I say you can't have a good band without a good drummer. Like that.
oh, I
That's
100% agree.
that's how that's how I live my life. But it really is that the drums make the band most of the time, as I say. When you can hear a drum beat and it's distinct, and you're just like fuck yeah, and that's usually my ears go to it first and
Hmm.
foremost to hear a beat. And when people share music with me too, and I'll tell them exactly like, dude, that fucking drum beat's fucking terrible for this song. You need to
Yeah,
change it. Like but it's so important. And I mean, if you started on drums, I know it's hard at that point, but did you like you start getting lessons on drums and you're playing drums, did you like rush out to find other people to play music with? And did you form a band? And if so, what was the name of that very first band?
uh, I didn't actually for a while because when I started, I was kind of young. I was like 13, 14, and like the reason that really pushed me outside of me thinking it was cool, but like an app, like a way to apply it to something was there was like a middle school musical and they needed a drummer, and I was like, oh, I'll do it, and then I just kept up with it, but I didn't play in like a traditional band kind of situation until high school. Like me and just some friends, we started a band. Right? Fuck, I can't even remember the name at this point, but it was terrible, as all first bands names are. If I
That's why I
remember it,
wanted
I'll
to know what it
mention it.
was. Yeah.
Yeah, if I remember it, I'll mention it. But it was awful. But like we would do that. But and then honestly though, mainly through high school, like my most consistent band scenario was like the school band. But it wasn't like a marching band. It was like a jazz rock band. And so like like we didn't really play much jazz. The jazz was just kind of there, like just to make it sound fancier than it was. but um, I mean, it was a great time. Like I got to skip a lot of classes because of it. Um, but um, but yeah, no, like so, yeah, fuck. Um, God, I'm trying to remember the name. It was like sweet something at first, and then we decided on something. Ah, fuck, I don't know. I'll remember it at some point. I'll like look through my phone, but yeah.
Now going from that and playing jazz band and stuff, do you kind of remember your first time you ever performed in front of strangers in an actual band setting and not like school band?
Yes, um, I do. We with my first band. I'll it's fucking ironic. I can't remember the name, but I can remember this day so specifically. But we played this bar in Queens. It's no longer there. I mean it's still there, but it's under like a completely new name management. But we played this like local bar that was called Joe's Garage, and it like packed out, and we didn't, and we had like put up like flyers like on the street poles and like told like some of like our fellow classmates like the day prior, and it's like they like it's like okay, let's get it, let's see, let's try and see if we can get a bunch of like 15 and 16-year-olds in this like biker bar, and it worked. um and it ended up packing out, and it was one of the most like jarring things I'd ever done, because like people were kind of just there because like there wasn't really much to do, um oddly enough. But it was really cool. We played like a bunch of covers, and we had like a few originals, but it was mainly like a cover set, which was fine at the time. We were just happy people came. Like we didn't really get paid, and like honestly like didn't care. Um, but it was really surreal. Like it was very nerve wracking at first, like just seeing like a bunch of people just standing, just like looking at us, like waiting for us to start, and we were like what do we do? It's like the first song went pretty rough, but honestly, like I remember everything after like the first two or three songs, like we kind of just like found like a nice groove and like really locked in. Like we had a saxophone player in the band, and like, he was like the best member of the band by far. Um, like way too good. Like I'm pretty sure he's like pursuing like a professional jazz career right now. Um, but yeah, no, it was super weird just like seeing people like look at us, like waiting for us to play, and then like when we did it, it was just like, oh, okay, this is not as bad as we thought it would be. Especially because like we were all like we're able to look at each other and be like, oh no, okay, we're good. Like and kind of have like that visual reassurance like midway through a song or whatever it might have been. So it was definitely very like foreign. I mean, it still kind of is, but especially at the time when I was like 15, you know,
So
or
did
at the
that
time,
like
14.
that give you the bug like afterwards? Were you just like, okay, I just want to keep doing this, or was it got through that? Um, don't know if it's ever going to happen again, but we'll see. Like, do you
I
remember
mean,
how you felt?
yeah, kind of a mix of both. Um, since it was like our, because like we had performed in front of like our school before, but like everybody was required to be there, so like there was less stakes. But with this, it was like, okay, no, it's like there's no other acts, it's just us. And like so like part of it was just trying to make sure we can get through it. Or like me specifically, just get through it without fucking it up as bad as you know, just trying to get there as well as possible. But then at the same time, it was like, okay, this is kind of cool, and like getting to play like to a crowd. It's kind of like, I don't want to say it's like a do or die situation, but it's kind of has like a similar feeling where it's like, you can't just like stop the song. I mean, you could, but like you're not gonna.
Yeah.
Like you kind of just have to keep it pushing, and like that kind of like rush of like just playing it. And like at the time, very like thinking very critically. Um, but like not that I don't do that now, but like especially then it was, I don't know, it was very like new, and like it was very fun, like I have to say. And it definitely like kind of sparked like that want to keep playing like to this day.
Now, other than that very first performance, like, do you have performance of yours that, for better or worse, kind of occupies this little space in your brain that you think will never go away? Like, to date, one, a show that you
Mhm.
performed that you just, like, for some reason, and again, for better or worse, is just always going to occupy that little space in your brain.
Yes. The first jam poetry show that we ever played, it was me, the original founding member. His name's Christian. He's no longer in the band, but we're still cool. And then my cousin actually, he filled in on drums for it. We had like written these songs like so. Okay, first off, it took place in this like Presbyterian church, all the way at the end of Long Island somewhere, in like a rec room.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it was supposed to be Burrito Fest, but there was no burrito trucks. They canceled, or someone couldn't get them. So like the nuns, or well, I call them nuns, but the ladies that help out with the church, they were like slinging like hot dogs, like as like the savior. So honestly, it kind of worked out. Um, but that show I'll never forget because we had written these songs like a month and a half prior, and most of them are the stuff on the EP. Just like, I mean, they're honestly kind of similar, like lyric changes, but structure wise, they're pretty much the same. And we had like a week to practice. Like, and it was like we started practicing on Monday. We crashed at my cousin's house because he's all the way out in Long Island. We're from Queens, so we just stayed with him for the week. And we practiced on all the way from Monday, and the show was on Friday, and we were like tweaking, we were like losing our shit the whole time prior. But then we saw like our friend, who is now our friend, but at the time I didn't know him at all. But a buddy of ours on Long Island who goes around in a minion costume from Despicable Me, and I just remember like walking out and seeing this like minion crowd surfing to the band that was prior to us, and I was like, oh, okay, this is gonna be fucking great. So yeah, I'll never forget that show because like we went up there and like we played like it wasn't perfect, but we had so much fun doing it, and like just seeing the minion, especially, it's kind of like my anchor. Like if I was like starting to like kind of freak out, I'd like just look at the minion, and the minion would like bring me back. It was kind of like my home point, honestly. But yeah, it was great.
That's
I'll never
awesome.
forget that show. Yeah,
Something to focus on while you're playing. Yeah,
yeah, it was so absurd that I don't think I'll ever forget that.
it's a great story. Now,
Yeah.
from your performances, do you remember the first concert you ever went to, ever? And then
Yes.
if it's not the same one, the follow up question is, and then the first one you got to pick. So, what was the first one you ever went to?
Yes, I do remember very, very vividly. I think it was 2014. I don't know how old I was, but I saw Motley Crue at the Jones Beach like stadium, or like
Yeah.
stage.
Yep.
I did not want to be there. I was grumpy the whole time. I don't remember why. It wasn't because I like hated the music or anything. It was like kind of neutral to it, but like I just was so pissed off for some reason. And I just remember like standing there with like, or like, yeah, I was
Because
just like standing
you
there with
heard
my arms
Vince Neil's
crossed.
voice live. That's why you were pissed off.
Yeah, that too. I think like like Alice Cooper opened, and like he had like a snake, and I remember being confused. Like, why is there this snake like on the stage? Like the snake's confused. Like he doesn't know what's going on. Like go put him back where you found him. Um, so yeah, that was the first one I ever went to,
Well, at
at least that
least,
I can
I mean,
remember.
if it was 2014, so Nita Strauss was probably Cooper's guitarist at that time, right?
Probably, I think
Yeah, I
so,
mean, and see her rock is worth definitely worth the price of admission.
for sure.
Now, how about the first one you got to choose to go to yourself?
Oh, what was it? Oh, fuck. It was either Angels and Airwaves or uh, Greta Van Fleet, but like right, it was like before Greta Van Fleet blew up. Because like I pride myself on finding Greta Van Fleet when their EP dropped and nobody knew about them, and I saw them then. I think that might have been the first one that I like chose to go to, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool." I've never gone to a show on
Where
my own.
where was that show? Bowery?
No, it was it was like the Forest Hills. Is it just not stadium, but like the
Yeah, it's called Forest Hill Stadium for some
yeah
reason. Yeah. But
yeah
yeah.
there. I believe that's it. I
Yeah,
could
because
be
I saw
very
them
wrong.
at a showcase very early on, right when the EP dropped, and it was a showcase at Bowery Ballroom. That's what I was wondering.
Okay.
And then I'm kind of out on them now. So
Yeah, me too.
turns out they can't write good songs. But
Yeah. It's like they became slightly original, and everyone's like, "I'm good."
yeah, and after a while, I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna go back and listen to Led Zeppelin. I have that in my arsenal. It's fine.
Yeah.
So, do you have a show that like stands out in your mind, like a favorite show that you've ever been to so far in your young life? One of your favorite
Yeah,
ones?
definitely. Last year, I saw Free Throw on their tour for their most recent record, and
Was that when they were playing with Can't Swim and?
no, it was with Prince Daddy and the Hyena,
Okay.
Charmer, and Saturdays at Your Place.
Okay.
And I saw them in Manhattan. I forget the name of the venue, but it was kind of small. And it was like the first time I had seen them on like a headlining tour, because I had seen them prior with Mom Jeans, but like it was like my first time seeing them on it. And like they're my favorite band, so like getting to see them like do like a full headlining set was just absolutely mind blowing. Like my girlfriend looked over and she said like I was just like during a few of the songs I was just kind of standing there with my jaw dropped, like just in complete awe. Just like that's definitely my favorite one that I've been to. It was just insane. And like we were late to it, so I ended up missing Saturdays at Your Place's entire set and only caught the tail end of Charmer. But yeah, no, that entire show was great. I went, we got there late, but we met up with a bunch of like our buddies and just had an absolute fucking blast.
Yeah, I saw them last year, and that was they played what Can't Swim, Heart to Gold, and Early Humans, and that the entire show was the lineup was fucking amazing. It just made everything like awesome.
Yeah, I had a really like funny, I guess. My girlfriend says it's funny, but interaction because the singer from Hot Mulligan was there,
Mm-hmm.
and like he was at the merch table, and my girlfriend was buying something from Free Throw, and I was just kind of like standing there while she was talking to like the person running their merch, and apparently me and Tage just kind of like looked at each other all awkwardly because I wasn't like starstruck. It was just like, oh, hello, I don't know what to say. It was just kind of like two, like if you had like two Roombas like get together, like they don't know what to do. It's kind of like that.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, I always
right.
mention it because it's funny.
Yeah. So if I'm gonna get into your music right this second, and it's usually the hardest, the second hardest part of the show for someone to answer a question. But if no one ever heard your music, you met a complete stranger, you told them you were in a band, and you had to play him one of your songs. What one of your songs would you play for him?
Yeah, you weren't kidding. Probably if I only had one song, I'd probably play our song QB Dubois Fights Crime in Ontario.
How's life in our home? Hold grass by straws and block out the sun. There's nothing
Yeah, that's probably got to be the one. That or Grounded, like definitely one or the other.
So I love when I have the exact answer already written down
Mhm.
because that's exactly what it because it's like that. I always look for something that like that has the versatility that kind of showcases exactly like everything. All your songs culminated in one. Here's what
Mhm.
it is.
Yeah,
Would you
yeah.
say
No.
that that's your favorite song you've released to date, or or is there a different song you would say is your favorite one of yours that you've released?
That's not mine, at least. My favorite is either The Mysterious Tenth Boy, which, it's weird. It's
Yeah,
just like a weird
it's a great
intro
intro to the
track.
album. Yeah, it's
Yeah, like I just have fond memories of recording that one because we recorded that on the last day and it was written like the night prior. But probably the song Hermione Granger Bug Me Outside the Forbidden Forest. Um, just because like there's a sample in there that's very near and dear to my heart, and just like that entire song is like just very like I have very specific memories attached to it. So probably that song more than any of the other ones. It definitely is my favorite one. Um, and like if I were to like show somebody like my favorite song, it'd be that one. But it's definitely not like the most appealing one out of the whole 10.
now being in New York City. It's not always required, but I
Mhm.
mean, you get your driver's license usually a big day, and then you take the car or a car and you go to pick up friends or do
Mhm.
something cool. Do you remember what you were listening to the day you got your license?
Ozzy's Boneyard, because I was with my dad. Um, but so that's what I listened to immediately after.
That's
But
awesome.
because I just hopped in the car and it was just blaring, and I was like, all right, let's go. But um, I remember what I was listening to before because I was late like to my test.
Off to a good start.
So because I took like a lesson, just to make sure I was like good, like right before it, and the guy, like the instructor, like didn't drop me off there, and he was supposed to, so I had to walk to my test, like all the way across Queens, pretty much, or not Queens, but across like Astoria over to by Rikers where the test was being taken. And it was just like, all right, my bad. And I was listening to fuck. It was Neighborhoods by Blink 182 on the way.
Makes
But
sense.
in terms of when I got the physical license, I don't remember. Um, but it was probably something like that.
Now, in your life, I mean, I know you just said Free Throw's your favorite band, but
Mhm.
are they the band that you like when you don't know what you want to listen to, but you know you want to listen to music that you just usually find yourself putting on no matter what? And that's sometimes it's different than your favorite band. So that's, it's like a
Mhm.
band that never lets you down, that you're always, I don't know what I want to listen to, and you just always end up putting it on.
Yeah, it's definitely got to be Free Throw. I mean, like just for me, it's like pick a point in their discography, and I'm pretty good. Um, so yeah, it's definitely got to be Free Throw. But if it's not Free Throw, it's um, fuck, it's probably Bright Eyes. There's a record called "It's Wide." I'm wide awake. It's morning that I really
Mm-hmm.
like, and I throw that on occasionally, especially like right around now and when it gets colder. It's kind of like, oh, I don't know what to listen to. I'll just throw this on my way to class or wherever the fuck I'm going.
And I never thought so when it comes to Bright Eyes, like I never thought one of my favorite Christmas albums would be Bright Eyes' Christmas album.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's fantastic.
Now, do you it's with we've mentioned some bands here, so it's like what your pocket is style of music. Do you have like a guilty pleasure that you listen to that you get tons of enjoyment out of that people be really surprised you listen to based on the bands you've already mentioned?
Yes, it's Madison Beer's new album, Spinnin'. I rock with it, you know. And most people would be like, "What the fuck?" And it's cool. Like, all right, I get it, but definitely that. My girlfriend got me into it, and I've just kind of been like, okay, this is sick. It was actually one of the biggest inspirations for my contribution to the record, oddly enough. Um, but that's definitely got to be like my guilty pleasure in terms of music, especially lately. Um, yeah, it's definitely got to be that album.
Do you remember the last song you cried to?
Yeah. Wait, do I? It happens like every other day at this point, I swear. It's like I'll hear something new or I'll listen to something like specific. But um, is it cool if I look through real quick just to
Yeah.
make sure I don't miss it? Um, yeah, it's got to be. It's a free throw song. It's tips for safe travels off of lessons that we swear to keep. I think it's like the last or second to last song on the record. Um, that's got to be the last one. I just like looked through my history and it's always that one.
Right.
I'm like I like getting ready for it. I'm bracing and it happens.
Do you have a band in your life that you haven't seen live yet and is kind of like your bucket list to have to see?
Yes. Um, it's definitely got to be Aren't We Amphibians? I know they just played Queens the other night, and I wasn't able to go, which I'm really mad about. But um, they've been a band I've been super excited about, and like just everything they've been putting out has been blowing my mind. So it's like just if I ever get the chance to see them again, I need to like or see them for the first time, I need to really jump on it because they're fucking amazing.
Do you know, like off the top of your head, and this is another hard question. It's not the hardest one. That'll come later, but I have this thing with like certain bands where like I call them overrated, underrated. Like I
Mhm.
think they're really overrated based on certain things of why people like them, but I think they're extremely underrated for either their full body of work or the songs that no one's really ever heard.
Mhm.
So do you have a,
Um,
I usually sometimes I've used Third Eye Blind before. Like I think all their
mhm.
songs that were hits are the worst songs they ever made, and all the stuff that no one's ever listened to is some of the greatest stuff I've ever heard.
Yeah. Um, Part of me wants to just say free throw again, just because I want people to listen to free throw who haven't. But probably, I mean, I don't know if I, at least from my perspective, I guess like maybe Jimmy Eat World. Like I think like people know about him, but they don't know
Yeah,
like as in depth as they should. It's like they'll know like the middle and maybe Bleed American, like the song, but and that's it. And like
yeah,
they're definitely popular, but I
yeah.
feel like
They're my
they.
love hate band. Like I
Mhm.
think they had one of the greatest runs of just making banger of albums from Static Prevails to Clarity to Bleed American to Futures, and then like they kind of just kept doing the same thing.
Yeah.
They switched up things so much in so many different styles in a four album, and I'm not even talking about their very first album, which was self-titled, and they put it out themselves. And there's one
Yeah.
copy on Discogs right now for $500. Um,
Damn.
and I have one original copy of the CD as well that I'm not
Hmm.
parting with it, but like they had such an amazing run, and I would say 5 albums because I'll even put that first one because they were just kids making punk rock music. But yeah, there and then I kind of like after Futures, I was like, yeah, no, I'm done. And then
Hmm.
a couple years ago, they came out with Something Loud, and that song was like reinvigorated me for what was to come. And then I heard more of the album. I was like, oh no. So they just made an awesome new song that I thought they were going in that direction, and they just stopped with that one song. But it was
Yeah.
awesome. I still got it. So that's great.
Yeah, no, definitely. I also kind of think, like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like it might be time to acknowledge that MCR is not as bad as people say they are. Um, I think enough time has passed. It's fine, you know. You could throw them in as a guilty pleasure too. You know, Black Parade was the first album I ever bought when I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, when I was like 14, 15. I like bought it on iTunes. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. Um, but so yeah, I'll throw them in there, and
Yeah.
you
I
know,
still have never, and it's weird because, they live right in the town next to me, but like,
they do.
I never, even when they were coming up, like
Mhm.
I'd seen them open for some of my favorite bands like back in the early 2000s. And then,
Yeah,
my friend always explains to me, he's like, listen, you don't have to like them. He goes, but you got to understand they are someone's Beatles. Like you
that's
got
true.
to, and I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, dude. They're for some people, like that's their band, that's their Beatles. Like that's their,
Mhm.
that's where they think music begins and ends, just like how a lot of Beatles fans do. He's like, but
Yeah,
I'm like, that's crazy to me. He goes, yeah, but that's what parents said to their kids about the Beatles, right? He's like, so I'm like, no, guess you're right. I'm just an asshole. But I never could really get into it, and I tried, and I was like, I'm like, I think my moment for this style of music passed at that moment. And I was just like, all right. And then I like got onto the harder, some stuff that I thought was better, like Thrice and things like that. But yeah, I guess we got to give them credit where credit's due.
yeah, yeah.
All right. So here's the hardest question of the show.
Okay.
5 minutes left to live. A meteor's hurling into the earth. We all know about it. And you have to listen to one song and one song only. What are you listening to?
Uh, Transparent Skin by Buff Out. It's one of their it's the final song in their new EP. And it's just so for I don't know if you've heard it, but if you haven't, you should.
I
Because it's
just wrote it
fucking
down.
amazing. It's so good. And like if I'm gonna die, especially if I can see the meteor coming right at me, like that ending breakdown, like that'd be one way to go out. Like just listen to like just watching this meteor hurl at me while Mikey is just screaming my ears off. Definitely that song. It gives me chills every time.
Awesome. Well, that wasn't that hard for you. I like that. Do you own or have anything music wise that if there's a fire in your house is burning down, everybody's out safe? Okay, so I'll preface: everyone's out safe. The cats and dogs are out. But you can run in and grab one more thing that is musically oriented to your life. What's the one thing you're pulling out of that fire that you can grab?
um, Probably my acoustic guitar because it wasn't the first guitar I ever got, but it was a gift from my dad. Um, and I don't know, I just have such like sentimental value like attached to it that it'd be like I can kind of lose everything else, but I'd want to keep this. It's like a Grateful Dead acoustic guitar. I don't. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not a big Deadhead, so he
I'm
always
not
jokes
either.
with me. He
Yeah,
always jokes. He's like, play some Grateful Dead, and I'm like, no, I don't know any of it. Um,
you could
but
just play anything. Like
yeah,
that's the whole point of it. It doesn't matter
that
what
is
you're
true.
playing.
That is true. But definitely that. I've written a lot of songs on it too, so it's kind of just like there, and like my head is like my like like when I think instrument, I just think of that thing, just hanging on my wall somewhere, or it might be in a corner. I don't know where it is right now, but somewhere. So if it's in a fire, I might
Yeah,
lose it because of pure just lack of awareness.
yeah,
But
knowing where it is.
yeah,
Where did I leave my guitar?
it's like oh now it's in smolders. Oh well.
Oh, the Grateful Dead. I hate when I hear that those two words together. Um, it's they're just that band that's just always so fucking weird to me. That
I could never
it's,
get into them
I don't
personally.
understand it. It's the best way I ever heard it described was, um, yeah, you got eight different musicians playing a different song at the same time. Like, and
Yeah,
that's the Grateful Dead. And I was like, dude, that's the greatest fucking way I've ever heard anything explained.
that is. I can't lie. I've never heard that, but that definitely fits.
All right. We got another question for you before we start winding down here, but and like can't say Wembley or anything, but like a venue
Mhm.
that you really want to perform in that you're just hoping you get the opportunity to perform there one day.
Um, Probably. I mean, like the music hall at Williamsburg definitely comes to mind because I've seen just some of my favorite shows there. Like the first time I ever saw Prince Daddy and the Hyena was there, and Slaughter Beach Dog as well. And it's just kind of like has this. space in my mind where it's one of those venues that, like, I don't know, it just it's a big venue to me, and it's very cool, but at the
It's got a
same
good
time
vibe.
it's
Yeah,
yeah, it's got like an
there's a good
amazing
vibe
vibe
there,
to
and
it.
it's a newer venue per se. So I mean that
Yeah,
again, it's pretty cool.
yeah. So probably that one for me.
Nice. Is that your favorite venue in the city to see a show
Yeah,
at? Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Well, before we move on to our final segment,
Mhm.
I'd love to give you the opportunity right now to tell people how to find all your music. Hopefully, buy some merch so you can keep making more music. All your handles and all that stuff. Love to give you that opportunity right now to do that.
Most if not all of our handles is just Jam Poetry Band. Pretty much anywhere. We're most active on like Instagram and Twitter, which is now X. Um, but we don't have any merch up online yet. We are planning on printing more though, so and putting it up on Bandcamp, um, to have that out there for people that may want it that aren't necessarily in our like we're not going to their specific region at the moment, that they may want to pick up something or just look at it. So yeah, just Jam Poetry Band pretty much everywhere. I can't think of a single place where it's not that.
Awesome. Well, we're moving into our final segment, and you guys have appeared in this segment recently, and it is our weekly three segment. It is three things that you're listening to right now that you would like to people to check out. You give three, then I give my three.
Okay. Um, Buff Out's new EP, which is called Back in the Saddle, um, that also released on the same day as our record. So that I remember hearing it and was like, "Damn, we're cooked." But so definitely that. A very small band called Rookie Mistake. They have an EP they dropped earlier this year called "I Will Not Die in Upstate New York." That is pretty much on repeat every other day for me. And then um, another band from New York that's called Beat Shop, and they have an EP out called Year of the Shop, but they've got some singles out there and um, something big on the way. I don't want to like announce it for them, but something big is coming, and they've soft announced it, so I can say it here. So yeah, just Beat Shop is one to look at.
Awesome.
That's mine.
Awesome. Okay. My three for this week. My first one is a band that we've had on the show previously. They released a new album. It's the band is A Place for Owls, and the name of the album is How We Dig in the Earth. I highly, highly recommend it. As I spoke about earlier, getting something months before it comes out. I was digging on it for a long time, and then it finally came out, and I was so excited to share it with people. So I'm excited to do that here. Next is another band we've had here that released a new album on the same exact day as Place for Owls. And it was another thing that I got to preview that was just so glad it's out so the whole world can hear it. But Nowhere Fast released an album called Modern Archaic, and to find them, it's Nowhere Fast Music. So if you go to Spotify, it's Nowhere Fast Music, and the name of the album is Modern Archaic. And last but not least is a band called Luxury, and the name of the album is Like Unto Lambs. I don't know if anybody remembers the band Luxury from back in the 90s. They were making, some good waves, and there was unfortunately a bad accident after they were going back from tour and stopped making music for a while, and they're back. They released an album in 2019, and they just released another album now. And I I gotta say, if you like music and you like awesome music and seeing a progression of a band from what they once were to what they are now, go check out Luxuries, Like Unto Lambs, and fall in love. So those are my three for this week.
Yeah, I keep hearing about A Place for Owls, so I definitely need to check that out.
Yeah, you have to. They literally just created a masterpiece. So,
Really, I'm hype.
but Dylan, first and foremost, thank you for being here today and sharing your story with us. And the biggest thank you is thank you for creating the music that I got to listen to and made me instantly reach out to you after I heard it. So, thank you so much for creating the art that turned two strangers into friends right now. So it means the world to me. And you created something very special and very unique. You should be very proud of what you made. And I'm just excited to see some more things from Jam Poetry in the future. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor and a pleasure to be on the to have that you'd want to have me on the show, and I appreciate like everything you do with your show as well. Like especially you were saying like take like having bands on that are like similar to us that are smaller and a little bit more unknown, and giving them like a platform to be known, even if it's to one person or the whole world, whatever whoever finds it. Um, it really I appreciate it endlessly, and it's shit like this that you know makes me think, oh, this scene is really cool sometimes.
Yeah.
So seriously, thank you for having me, and it's genuinely an honor and a pleasure.
It is our pleasure as well. And everyone, you know what time it is now. It's time to go out, listen to Jam Poetry, and have a great fucking time.
Hell yeah.
Thanks again for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. We hope you enjoyed this week's show. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at HiddenTracks99. Also, send all your submissions myhiddentracks99@gmail.com. Tune in next week. You may find your new favorite band, and don't forget to go out and have a great fucking time.